Welcome, everyone, to the Year of the Bird. Yes, obviously, both of our clubs have won trophies, and this is the first time we're doing a show like this. We have a Newcastle United show, obviously me as the representative, and Charlie as the Tottenham Hotspur representative. And of course, we both support teams, clubs that have a bird as their mascot, obviously Magpie, and so I love magpies. Charlie, cockerel.
The cocks, yep.
Well, I mean, we'll probably talk about the transfer. Obviously, there's a couple of comments from FC25, but yeah, before we get started with the show, Charlie, how are you feeling?
I'll be honest with you, usually when I come on your show or any other show, I'll be like, yeah, all good to be on. And obviously, it's still good to be on, but I'll be lying to you if I say I felt good because, look, FC25 literally says it in the chat.
Down there.
I'm gonna speak about this. There's lots I need to say and get off my chest about this. I'm not feeling good, and I don't think I've been this angry forever, if I'm being honest. Like this, what's happened with this transfer? I just have no words right now, but I'm gonna try and put it into words. So, yeah. But apart from that, I'm doing all right. Look, for those watching on both channels, obviously on 10's channel, you might be watching on my channel as well. This is being streamed on both, so please subscribe to both channels if you haven't already. Like both the streams as well, and get all your chats in as well as we dissect Spurs and Newcastle. This is going to be a weekly show every Thursday at 5 p.m. from next week. Because of the Champions League draw, this will be moved to Friday, so just for next week. But then the week after, it will be back for Thursday. And big up to Adieri as well. Big up to you every single time. Keep getting your chats in, guys. We'll try and get to as many as possible. But yeah, 10 obviously hosting this one. I'll be hosting the show we do on Monday. So yeah, this should be good. I'm looking forward to the year ahead for this show.
I mean, obviously, next week actually at around this time is the Champions League draw. Thankfully, you don't have to go through any qualifiers. Obviously, certain clubs have to and all that. Obviously, you saw Celtic couldn't even beat a team from Asia, Kairat, Almaty. So
I mean, they're closer to China than they are anywhere in Europe.
Afos from Cyprus could make it. So some new teams somewhat potentially qualifying and could be one of our opponents in the Champions League. Obviously, most likely Spurs will be part 3. Newcastle will be part 4. Almost certainly will be like that with Bruges and Benfica likely being the qualifiers to get part 2. But yeah, we might as well start with the big news. I mean, both of our clubs have big news.
Yeah.
Probably both on the wrong end. Well, I guess maybe, did you guys want to see Charlie's tears now, or you want to see my take on Isak? I don't know which one you want, Charlie.
I think let's do Isak first. Let's get a few more people in.
Okay, so yeah, Isak drama, we could call this. But yeah, overall, my feeling on this. Look, obviously,
he's put out a statement, hasn't he? Now he's been trying to leave. He's gone public about it now.
Yeah, and my opinion on him now, I wouldn't say it's soured because I still think there's some chance he could still get reintegrated. It depends on what happens on deadline day or before it. Because I feel like if Isak leaves, well, obviously it has to be before deadline day. And big up to Ahmed's year.
Big up Ahmed every single time.
But yeah, my opinion on the Isak stuff, the general stuff is I'm fine with him leaving, but a club, either that be Liverpool, PSG, or whoever, has to pay a good amount of money, because 110, comparing that to 150, we're basically saying that Isak is like Mbappe right now, or in terms of that sort of pricing of top quality players. And look, Liverpool, champions of the Premier League, looking to finally do a quadruple and all that for the first time since 2022. Obviously we all probably going to put a huge price, because Isak, I wouldn't say was our number one player last season. I have my own opinion. I think it was Tonali, but I'll be fine letting Isak go if we get the money in. And I know people will say, oh, if the money doesn't come in and Isak sulks until like January and his value goes down. For me, I don't really mind. Like, look, what I care about is the results on the football pitch. And coincidentally, obviously, we play Liverpool on Monday. I cannot. I don't know what.
Well, that's going to be fireworks.
I
Obviously, I'm sure we'll talk about that game, sort of previewing it. But I mean, look, with the Isak stuff, and big up to Jordan, Liverpool fan John in the chat as well. With Isak, the way I see it is like, I think the way he's acted and his agents have been a disgrace, if I'm being honest. Because
actually, I saw somewhere, maybe you might not remember this. Remember the summer of 2011, Luka Modric wanting
Spurs. I remember it. Yeah, because we didn't want to send him to Chelsea, and then we sold him to Madrid a year later. But I was saying that with Isak, look at what he's done for Newcastle, right? He's won you guys the Carabao Cup.
Scored the winner.
He scored, exactly, scored the winner. He scored 27 goals last season. He's been, for me, easily the best striker in the league last season, one of the best in the world. And yet, he wants to just throw this all away to try and force a move that's not even guaranteed to happen. Because I know Liverpool want Isak. I mean, who wouldn't want Isak? But they went and got Ekitike, which is somebody that Newcastle wanted. So surely you would think that if they wanted Isak the most, they would have prioritized him. So I think that Isak, the way he's acting for a move that's not even the club, in this case Liverpool, aren't even guaranteed to stump up the money as far as we know. And he's gone on strike and he's put out a statement and he's completely ruined his connection that he's had with the Newcastle fans. So for me, I think that he's handled this shockingly. I think that, to be honest, Newcastle as a club, Newcastle as fans just deserve better, to be honest, to see kind of their club being essentially dragged through the mud this summer with this whole saga. We'll see what happens. The club are saying they're not going to sell him. They're saying that he's not for sale. We'll see what happens. Will Isak get his way? Will Newcastle be able to find a replacement? Because that's been obviously tricky for you guys that look, I don't mean this in a bantering way, but you've been getting rejected the whole window for whatever reason. I don't personally understand why, but that's sort of been the case. So whatever happens, I'm not sure what Newcastle are going to do because people are forgetting they don't have a striker right now. They lost Wilson as well. I know he's not amazing, but he was a natural number 9. They lost Wilson and Isak's on strike, so they're playing like Gordon and stuff through the middle.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll talk about the games, our weekend games in a minute, but just as a quick spoiler to that, Isak would have probably made a huge difference the way that game went. So, I don't know. For me, I have a bit of a bitter taste towards Isak throughout all of this. We'll see what happens, but I guess if you are going to look at Newcastle, the fault would probably be that there was the rumor that he wanted a new contract and that you guys were going to offer it and you ended up not doing it. So, for me, not great this situation, but for Isak as well, he can't just sit in the reserves for 6 months because I'm not saying Sweden will qualify, but it is a World Cup year and you want game time and just for him as a player, right? Because if he's not going to play, his value is going to go down and his stock's gonna drop. So surely the best thing for him to do is if he can't get his move, accept it, stay. Play another season at the top level. And then with 2 years left on his contract next summer, he could maybe get his move then to Liverpool. Who's to say that they won't come back for him? Because Liverpool, they did it with Van Dijk. They did it with Alisson as well, I think. They often have this thing where if they can't get a player, they'll still keep them as a target and they come back. So, I don't know. I think Isak's handled this poorly, but we'll see what happens. It's a messy saga. You're seeing players from Newcastle post things on their story. It's very messy right now.
I mean, obviously with the whole Isak thing, I guess his relationship, at least with the fans, I don't know about the teammates like Joe Linton and all that. I think that one I have no idea. But I guess with the fans, like there's some people that are like, might as well he could get people don't care if he gets an ACL and all those sort of injuries and all that, which I guess is maybe just football fans and all that. But I think overall, I still think like if Isak was to stay, I think there will be a bit of reintegration because
they'll have to be surely.
The thing is that not because I want him to to start scoring goals for Newcastle. But like as you said about the World Cup year, whether Sweden qualify or not, I don't really care. But I mean, if they don't qualify, at least Isak doesn't have to play over the summer. But my feeling on the Isak thing, I am not as like bitter or anything towards him. I understand that he wants to go Liverpool, and that's fine because I've seen Andy Carroll go to Liverpool, so I mean used to it, you know. But obviously different stature and all that. But I think if he is to stay after August, September, whatever, then obviously he would have to have reintegration. Because if he plays in the reserves, yeah, his value will drop, and people say, you know, now that 150 will now be like 90 or whatever, that sort of value. I don't think it will be like that, but obviously a drop in value and all that. But also, like, we're basically not going to make a match fit. And so if a club was to come in January, let's say it's Liverpool, you know, it depends on Liverpool's season at that point and Newcastle's season. You know, I think then you have to get a match fit, which means he kind of starts in February, maybe March for Liverpool if he was to go in January or something like that. So I think it's a big risk that Isak is taking, and he has to really see how it goes in the next, I don't know, like 10 days it is left until the transfer window closes. And I just feel like I still think there's a bit of chance he could get reintegrated if he stays after that transfer deadline day. But do I think he'll be like, I don't know what you call this, a saint again if he scores like the winner against Sunderland because we played them in December? Oh, fucking course he will. Of course I will celebrate. If Isak scores against Sunderland, which he did, you know, when we played them, of course I'll be happy. And then I'll be like, you know what, he can leave now, that sort of thing. But
because that's the thing, there's January as well, to be fair.
Yeah. So I do think he leaves within the next 12 months, whether it's the next 10 days, January, or sometime in the summer, next summer. So that's why I think in terms of, I guess, like replacements, but obviously we'll actually go through some of the chat and all that. Obviously,
big up the chat.
Ahmed said Isak will lose his value. Yeah, of course he will if he stays and doesn't play at all and all that, of course. But is it a risk Newcastle willing to take? Perhaps so, because like if we value him at 150, how much of a value drop would be 110, which is what Liverpool offered? Then okay, yeah, that sort of thing. We're still.
I mean, how much do you think he's worth? Because I think if you look at the way the market is now, think of it like this: if you're seeing scrubs like Rice go for 100 million, if you're seeing overrated players like Caicedo go for 100,
you have really good players like Anthony going to Man United 2 years ago, 100 million.
100 million. So Isak for me is easily worth at least 150 million. Easily.
Yeah, something like that. Like if you want to say like the best strikers in the world that you can say is Prem proven, or even I wouldn't say European proven because Isak's not really known for. He only has one Champions League goal in his whole career against PSG. I remember.
Yeah.
What do you call this? I think he's up there with Haaland. I think those are the only two that's like the top.
For me, I agree.
I just want to say Mbappe and all that, but I see Mbappe.
That's how good Isak is. Like, he is incredible.
I mean,
what do you make of just in general? Like, obviously, we know that if he leaves, whoever the replacement is, it won't be anywhere near as good.
Yeah.
I think the trouble with that is if you take your whole transfer window into account. I mean, how do you feel about it? Because for me, I think you guys, I agree with a lot of what Strasbourg Steve has said about this. He basically said that you guys have just not been doing what you should be doing, which is, you know, bringing in enough players. You've signed, I mean, Ramsdale, like, come on, like, seriously. Obviously, look, you guys will hear me go in on my club as well, but looking at Newcastle, like, you know, who else? Like, Alanga, I think 55 million's a bit overpriced for him. You know, do you kind of share the frustration around the transfer window, especially with this whole Isak thing being dragged through the summer as well?
For me, I would probably say that like the transfers haven't. I think I kind of wish we had like that wow signing. You know, like the last time we had that for me was Tonali a couple of years ago, or obviously Isak when he signed, 3 years ago for his 6-year contract. Just saying. Or Bruno Guimaraes, the first transfer window we had. So we haven't had a wow signing like we had with Tonali when we got Champions League football the first time. But I think the only difference from that or the past few transfer windows and this one now is that we've actually got rid of the shit players, Wilson, Longstaff, uh, even Dubravka and all that. We shipped them away. We've actually become better sellers than buyers now, which is
We're still useless sellers. So
yeah. But then we bought in. Okay, Alanga's not great, but Alanga or Miggy Almiron. I think I know who I'm picking. Alanga, Jacob Ramsey or Sean Longstaff. I'll obviously probably pick Jacob Ramsey, the younger, has Champions League experience and all that. Who's the other ones we've signed? Malik Chiao, obviously. Anthony in the chat would say,
yeah, big up to Anthony in the chat. I see you.
Let me find his comment. Obviously, when I was doing my La Liga show, like the past.
Boniface, that's a good signing, by the way. Boniface.
There, which could have been like a Newcastle signing, but oh well. But yeah, we got Malik Chiao, which you can say Fabian Schär, who was good this past weekend, or Malik Chiao. Okay, you can say equal and all that. So I'd say we haven't raised in terms of like, what do you call this? Like the ceiling, we've raised the floor this summer. Because if we got into the Champions League with Longstaff, Callum Wilson, Dubravka, Jamal Lewis, maybe, I don't know. Comparing that to Alanga, okay, Ramsdale, I'm not a big fan of, but okay, alone. Who do you call this? Ramsey, Elanga, and we don't know who this striker signing, because I think we'll make one signing.
Well, Vissa, your bids keep getting rejected by Brentford.
Yeah,
so I don't know if you'll be able to get him.
Somewhere about Strand Larsen, who is a former Celta Vigo player. So I mean, I'll have a little bit of conflicting interest, but let's just say between Vissa or Strand Larsen, which one would I pick? I would love to have both, but if I have to pick one, I'd probably say Rissa, even though Rissa is doing almost the exact same thing that Isak is doing.
Trying to force a move to Newcastle, while Isak's trying to force a move out of Newcastle.
And the thing is that Rissa, what he calls, changed his profile pic on Instagram to a black screen, whereas Isak still has his like Newcastle top profile pic or whatever. So. But we'll see how the transfer window goes. Obviously, I saw that Richarlison could move to Brentford, and you guys get Rissa. I don't know, but yeah. Overall, my feelings towards the transfer window, it's not a 10 out of 10, but it's not a wow, but it's okay. So I say just a 6 out of 10. If we sell Isak, we have money, but then we have to get the replacement in.
You have to get 2 strikers, yeah.
Yeah. So. Just at this moment in time, let's say the transfer window closes right now, I would say 6 out of 10. So that's my feeling towards it right now.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I still think you guys need to do more. Big up to Nick joining as well. Big up to Newcastle fan Lewis, Anthony once again as well. Big up to keep smashing the likes up. All the people joining, subscribe to both. It's being streamed on both channels, so subscribe to both channels if you haven't already as well. But I guess that's Newcastle. I guess we'll get into it, won't we? With me now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big one, obviously, is that Eze is going to Tottenham Hotspur. What do you call this? Verbal agreement between Tottenham and Crystal Palace and Eze. And then the big news happened last night. Because Tuesday night was the Isak news, which is not really news, it's just public statements. But this one was a big public statement.
This was news.
It was big news, not for Spurs losing out on Eze, but the fact that they lost him to Arsenal.
See, you're law. I knew. You see, look, you're shameless. I knew you'd do this. You're shameless.
Oh God. I mean, how do you feel overall? I know you wanted to talk about it, so go ahead.
Okay. I have to. Okay, I have to kind of be careful with what I say because we're on a public stream, so I don't want to kind of demonetize either of us. But okay, I mean, I have to try. I have to start from the beginning with this, and I have to go back to the start of the window. Let's just start with this fact, right? Before I talk about Eze, why are we sitting here as a club already started the season with one permanent first team signing? Palhinha, great signing as well, but he was on loan with an option. These are our only signings. Our chairman comes out in May and says, "Oh, I want to win the Prem. I want to win the Champions League." He also says, not that I think Ange is an amazing manager, even though he won us the trophy. He also said, we sacked Ange because we want to compete on all fronts, and his Premier League record was abysmal last season. So those are the comments from the chairman. Not only does this happen, but we get an injury, a bad injury to Maddison, ACL injury. We have Kulusevski, who we knew from the end of last season was going to be out until like November. We knew that we needed another number 10. Gibbs White, I will not blame Levy for, because he triggered the release clause and technically he got the deal done. It was just Mr. Marinakis being crazy the way he is. So I don't actually blame Levy for Gibbs White. I don't think that was his fault. But what is his fault is being in a situation where we start negotiating for Eze when every single fan knew that this needed to be done, because we all wanted Eze, right? Every Spurs fan was creaming for Eze, including me. I wanted Eze. Every single one. We knew we wanted Eze. The club had been interested for 2 years in Eze. We could have had him last summer, but we decided against it, apparently. That's the word. We could have had him last summer, right? When his release clause was cheaper. We start negotiating for Eze a couple of weeks or so after we knew that we had no number 10. We didn't have a 10 in the Super Cup, and we didn't have a 10 against Burnley. That's not even mentioning how we still have not replaced Son, who I've already spoken about in a video, about how he's not the same player. He's one of the greatest players in this club's history, and yet we're just letting him go out and there's zero urgency to bring anyone in of a certain quality. Yes, Savio has been talked about, but where's the movement? Where's the bid towards where City would consider it? You know, where's the intent on that? They cannot walk and chew gum at the same time. Because if they could walk and chew gum at the same time, Eze wouldn't have been prioritized over Savio. They would have both been prioritized. Because if you're a club that can walk and chew gum at the same time, you can get multiple deals done at the same time. So this obviously leads us on to Eze. Because, yes, I fully understand that negotiating with Crystal Palace is a difficult task, which is why I said we had to do it weeks ago. We had to do it before Maddison got injured. We had to do it before all of the start of the season and everything. Because I knew that Crystal Palace, after that release clause had gone, or even if when it was still there, I know that they're difficult to negotiate with. So, yes, I know Levy drags deals out. Yes, I know that he haggles and he pisses about. But so do Crystal Palace. So does their chairman, Parish. He's just as bad with that sort of stuff. So I knew if you involve a negotiation with Levy and Parish, it's going to drag out. And it's going to be a long thing. So that's why we should have done it earlier. What has really just... Well, everything's pissed me off. But apparently the word is that we did get the deal done yesterday. That we finally agreed the deal with Palace, the player and everything. And then, what do you know? Of all clubs, it's the fucking scum of all clubs. and I'm gonna come to them in a minute because I have a few words to say about them because they're not getting off lightly in any of this, right? Havertz gets injured. Okay, they go and get Eze. Look, when that news came out, a lot of Spurs fans were fearing that, look, will they turn their attention to Eze? And that obviously happens. The reason people in our own fan base are trying to say, oh, they got the deal done in an hour. The only reason they got the deal done in an hour was because we did all the negotiating. We did all of the work, essentially. So they just matched it. And that's the fucking infuriating thing. That of all clubs, it's them that come in. Of all clubs. We should have got this done earlier. This is why. To avoid any sort of situation like this. And we've lost Eze. And we could have had him if we had just done this earlier. It's as simple as that. I'm fuming. I am absolutely livid with this. Because not only have we lost Eze, because look, I've been here before. The reason this is worse, this is the worst hijack sort of dilly-dallying Levy situation in the history of Levy, is because, look, I've been here before. I saw it when we lost Diaz. I saw it when we've lost other players to like other teams. Not once do I remember us losing a player to Arsenal. Fucking Bottlers FC. Right? And you've got, look, fair enough. They've got Eze. It's a good signing. I'm not gonna hide away from that. We needed Eze a lot more than they did, and that's the infuriating thing. They have a fit number 10. We don't have any fit number 10s. That we needed him so much more. But yet they're the ones that are getting him because we took too long. Yes, I understand that, oh, he's a boyhood Arsenal fan. Oh, he dreamed of playing for Arsenal. And what? He was willing to join us. We agreed the contract. So again, this is what I'm saying. People are trying to speculate, oh, he was waiting for Arsenal. He was waiting. They weren't even in for him yesterday. Until later. Why are we using that as an excuse? I'm so infuriated because we have been flipping embarrassed by this chairman again. This chairman has made this club be embarrassed in another way. I'm not going to specifically blame Arsenal, blame Eze for why he's gone there, because obviously they came in for him. What I'm going to do is blame the chairman again, because it's taken so long. And why are we in a situation where the season started, where we haven't replaced Son, we don't have a number 10, and we're going, like I keep saying, we're going into Champions League, nowhere near ready. The chairman said he wanted to compete on all fronts, and yet, once again, in the way they operate is amateur. The way they operate is, oh, opportunistic. Oh, considering, interested, blah, blah, blah. It's all these buzzwords. It's all rubbish. I've had enough, man. Like, at the moment, look, I'm taking out the Arsenal thing, but I will come back to that. The fact that we lost Eze in that isolated situation is a serious problem. Serious problem. The fact that they had it in the palm of their hands and they lost it. But I need to speak a bit about Arsenal because it's so hilarious and it's so funny that, after you stole Eze from us. Yes, you came in and hijacked it. Well done. You've won. We hijacked Eze trophy. Congratulations on your trophy. We hijacked Eze. Well done. Stick that in the trophy cabinet. Okay? And yet, if any Arsenal fans, whoever's watching this, will say, Charlie, you're rattled. No shit, Sherlock. Of course I'm rattled. Okay, what else am I? But it doesn't change the fact that your club have come out, all of your fans have come out of your little boxes thinking, oh, look how big we are. Oh, look how massive we are. Look how tiny you are. Right? I want all of you to go and go back to the 21st of May, 2025, and tell me what happened on that day. Because I'd love for you to go back and watch that and cry about it again. Because all this is again, And yes, it's my copium. I can acknowledge that it's my copium, right? But what a lot of you can't do, and this, I'm not talking about every single Arsenal fan, of course, but I'm talking about a large majority of that insufferable fan base, because you've come out of your boxes. You've come out, you've crawled out. Now you've taken Eze from us. Well done. So, yeah. I know I'm losing my shit. I know that it is copium from my point. I can acknowledge that. But what they can't acknowledge is that it's copium from their part, that they still can't deal with the fact that we won a trophy last year and they fucking bottled it like every year under this manager that they have. They can't handle it. They still can't handle it. So I'm gonna keep riding on this bandwagon, right? 21st of May, 2025. Please go back and watch that, right? Because we celebrate trophies. You celebrate the hijack trophy. Congratulations. Well done. All right, that's my piece on Arsenal fans. I just had to get that out there because it's just so funny that they've just all of a sudden come, you know, I didn't see them. For months, I didn't see them. They were nowhere to be seen. Yeah. But yet when this happens, they've all come out. On the 21st of May, where were they? Where were they on the 21st of May? I have no idea. Not a coincidence, is it? You know, that they were nowhere to be seen especially on the 21st of May. But anyway, it's a disgrace. Look, I'm not, yes, I'm saying all these things. These fans have come out, you know, they're bantering us. Cool, whatever, right? We gave it, look, in all seriousness, we gave it to them. They're giving it to us now. Look, it is what it is, but it's just a point, you know, and I'm throwing it back once again. That's all it is. So that's how football fans work it seems like. But the fact of the matter is that we've lost Eze. We had it, and it's Arsenal of all people, we've lost him to Arsenal. Bottle Job FC, Phase 10 FC. We've lost to these bums. We lost Diaz to Liverpool. We've lost other players to, I don't know, whoever. I haven't seen this situation happen with Arsenal as far as I can remember. So I'm fuming. I'm not just fuming that we've lost Eze. I'm fuming that what's going to happen now is that our alternative, or if there even is an alternative, because knowing this club, they have no succession plan whatsoever, right? Whoever it is, it's going to be some cheap option. It's going to be a player that's not as good as Eze. And I'm not, whoever that is, if we do sign someone, because at this rate, you know, with 12 days left to the window, we're still interested, monitoring, keeping tabs on. We're still in this little buzzword kind of way with 12 days left to the window, right? So whoever that player is, nothing against them, right? It's not their fault they're coming into this situation. But the reality is whoever walks in as our number 10 signing is going to be underwhelming. And it's not going to be good enough. It's as simple as that. You know, if you look, in terms of the names being out there, of course I'll take Morgan Rogers. Of course, I don't see it happening. Of course I would. Of course I would take Savio still for the winger target. But do I have any faith this is going to happen? No. None whatsoever. Would I be surprised if we don't even sign anyone? No, I wouldn't be surprised. Because the reason we've lost out on Eze is because the way they operate in the market is shocking and amateur. It's as simple as that. You know, I've seen another name, Nico Pass. I'd love Nico Pass. I rate Nico Pass. But think about it. This guy's only 20. It's a new league. The Prem's different to Serie A. He's going to come in and he's going to have all of this pressure on his shoulders. You know, he's very good. And I rate Nico Pass. But he's still a kid. He's still a player that has a long way to go in his career. Eze is 27. It's a totally different stage of his career. So that's just my rant. I had to say that. Look, I apologize if I've offended anyone, you know, but at the end of the day, this is just how I feel. And it's what I've seen online with Arsenal fans, you know, talking shit as per usual, because that's what they do. They celebrate second place trophies. Now they're celebrating hijacking players' trophies. That's what they're celebrating. You know, we won the Eze trophy. Congrats. Yeah, it's a good signing, and I think he'll improve you guys. And I think, look, it does make sense in some ways. So I do think they needed a player like Eze. I said that I think they needed another number 10. or another midfielder. But, you know, he should have been ours. It's as simple as that. And the reason he's not ours is because we did it too little, too late, and we should have done it before, right? And I'm not trying to give Arsenal any credit here, but why is it that they lose Havertz, who's considered a striker for them, and yet within an hour they decide that they're going to go for Eze? Why is it we lose Maddison and piss about for ages? Why is it we lose Son and we're still pissing about? Half our team's injured, right? The manager is being thrown under the bus by this pathetic chairman and board once again. So that's my rant on this. Look, like I said, it is what it is. That's my feelings. Arsenal fans, look, enjoy your moment. Enjoy signing Eze, but ultimately you're going to bottle it again. Your managers are going to bottle it. And ultimately, like I said, go back to the 21st of May, 2025 and watch and learn what happens on that day. A specific game that happened in Bilbao on that day. So there you go. That's my rant. In terms of the transfer window, look, I've spoken about it already. Kudus is a good signing. Palini is a good signing as well. But we are so short. You know? Exactly, Nick. That hurt me. And what hurts even more is that we're doing nothing to improve our squad and make up for a loss of a player like that. And we're going to the Etihad on Saturday with nothing, you know? So we'll see what happens from now till the end of the window. Like I said, because we've lost Eze and all the fans, including me, wanted Eze, whoever comes in, it's going to be very underwhelming and it's probably going to be another shit window. So, yay, that's my life as a Spurs fan. Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, that lasted about basically around 20 minutes of me actually not speaking a single word.
Sorry, that's my fault.
I was like timing to make sure, but yeah, look, overall, my thoughts.
I mean, what's your thought? What's your take on it?
my takes on Tottenham's transfer window is, look, I think the big turning point would be when we played you guys in South Korea, which was obviously when Maddison got his injury. And then I'm not sure if it was when the injury happened before or after the Gibbs White signed the new deal. I'm not sure. Maybe you might know better. Was it before or after the injury? The Gibbs White signing his new contract.
That was before the injury. So that makes it even worse, right? The fact that we knew we needed more cover in the 10 position before Maddison got injured. Now he's got injured. We need even more cover, and we're still pissing about. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, and I think overall it's not looking good in terms of transfers for Spurs. So people saying, "Hey, Newcastle reject FC." I mean, I think Spurs have the biggest rejection, I guess you can say. I don't know if it's really a rejection because Eze was okay going to Spurs.
So was Gibbs White. They were both willing to join us.
Yeah, but at least like a player like Martial was happy to say yes to Newcastle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess now it's time to turn our attention to our past weekend games. Both of us started our season. So I guess we'll start with the early kickoff of Saturday, which was Aston Villa 0, Newcastle United 0. Probably, if you're neutral, pretty boring. If you're a fan of Newcastle, I'd say we actually were the better team that day. My thoughts on that game, it's probably the most easiest analysis of the season so far. If we had a striker, like an actual number 9, or someone with that instinct, we probably win that game because the XG of Aston Villa that first half was 0, and Newcastle was, I'm not sure the exact, probably around 1, because we actually had some good chances, but the Villa goalkeeper, I forgot his name, was making his debut. He was probably their man of the match because in like the first 10 minutes, Alanga was basically true on goal. Could have scored our opening goal of the season and his first official competitive goal for us. But obviously, good save by the Villa goalkeeper, which wasn't Martinez because he was suspended because of that Man United. So I kind of have to thank Martinez for that. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be on that Thursday night draw this coming or next Thursday. But the rest of that first half, before halftime, we were, for sure, we were the better side. Second half, actually, Aston Villa were the better team. They had a couple of opportunities. Obviously, a big one early on in that second half was a header. I forgot who did it. I think it was Morgan Rogers, or Watkins. Headed straight to Pope and all that. But obviously, the big turning point of the game, you would say, was Konsa. Enzi Konsa getting the red card in the game in the 66th minute because he was the last man. And to be honest, that was probably the worst case scenario for Newcastle because without the striker, we didn't really do much for the remainder of that second half. Yeah, obviously we had more of the ball, but we weren't really at least trying to take a shot in front of the Villa goal in a good position. Because Villa just sat back because they knew, okay, we've lost Konza. We're 10 men down at home. We don't want to embarrass our fans and all that. So you might as well, close up shop and just defend, which they did really well, Villa. We just couldn't break them down that second half. And look, if you said before the Villa game, would I take a point? Because we don't have a good, last season we lost to Villa 4-1. A couple seasons ago, we lost to them 3-0, even though we beat them 3-1 in that bad season we had. But I'd say a point before the game was good. A point after the game, not that great. I would say we were obviously the better team, more frustrated. And look, if this sort of result somehow makes us miss out on Champions League football or something like that, then you can say the blame could be going on Isak. But right now, obviously, it's very early in the season. But yeah, my thoughts overall, I wouldn't say frustration. I was like, okay, at least we're not actually that shit. We haven't won a game yet since, I'm trying to remember, obviously last season, because we didn't win a game during preseason at all. Trying to remember who we played. Oh, I think our last one was against Chelsea, 2-0, I remember, at the start of May. So we haven't won a game since that time. So hopefully it might change on a Monday night. Who knows? But my thoughts overall, frustrated, but I was like, okay, we're not actually shit. But we have that deficiency, which was the striker, which is, well, he decides not to turn up. But he is actually, I saw photos. He's in training one-on-one.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So I don't know if that's really anything. We'll only have to wait and see about that by the end of August or wherever the transfer window closes. So that's my thoughts overall. 0-0, no goals. But at least we didn't lose and we kept a clean sheet for the first time in a long time at Villa Park. So, okay, I'll take the point, but we'll see how many points we get by the end of the season. If that 0-0 against Villa, if we got 2 extra points, who knows? We could have gotten maybe Champions League football again or something like that, but only time will tell. Not a great result, but yeah, I don't know what your thoughts. So even if you watch the game, there was only 2-3 highlights: the Elanga save, the header that Pope save, and the red card. That's literally the only highlights of that game. So I don't know if you saw anything else of that game apart from.
Yeah, no, I watched the game back. I totally agree with what you said, and if I was a Newcastle fan, I'd be really frustrated because it's one of those games where I'm 99% sure that if Isak was playing, you win that game at least 1 or 2-0.
Or even if you had a striker like Wissa or
even if you had if you had a Vissa, but especially with Isak, knowing the quality of him, you can be very assured that he would have been able to find a goal against 10 men for about half an hour or something.
Yeah.
Look, obviously I know Villa with Unai Emery, they're very adaptable. So especially going down to 10 men, they're going to sit back. They're going to make it difficult to break down. But I think if you look at the chances you guys created, even against that low block, I think you opened them up a fair few times. There was just no number 9 to just finish off the moves, to just finish off the chances. And that's kind of just the story of the game, to be honest. Like, obviously, for you guys, a draw, like you said, isn't a bad result going to Villa Park, but it could have been so much more. And even before they went down to 10 men, I thought you guys were the better team. I thought Villa were very poor, in fact, in that game. I didn't think anything really of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, Alanga goes through one-on-one in the first half. He has to score. It's as simple as that.
Like, if he scored, maybe the tide would have turned in that game.
100%.
Maybe 1-0 up, but
if you guys had scored, you win that game. I know it's easy to say because you got a clean sheet, so 1 goal would have been enough. But I truly believe that even if they didn't go down to 10 men, the way that game was going with 11 men, if you had Isak on the pitch, I think you would have already been 1 or 2-0 up before the red card
and all that. The one thing I actually want to add on that game, kickoff, the very first minute of the game. Guess what we actually decided to do? We were the ones kicking off.
Did you do the PSG thing?
Yep, we did all the way basically by the flag, and
that's the PSG tactic.
So I'm like, okay, are we going to like? I'm not going to say this with hindsight because maybe Liverpool might do this to us. But imagine if we do that, we kick off the game against Liverpool, we kick it all the way to the Liverpool corner flag. Liverpool do the throw-in, but then like a move happens and then we end up scoring in the first like minute or 2 of the game. Imagine the scenes of that. If we do a PSG throw-in type of kickoff, I mean, maybe that might be the new tactic.
It's a new tactic. I mean, PSG started it last season.
Yeah.
So maybe teams are catching on to it. And I guess Eddie Howe has looked at it and thought maybe that's something that we
especially like the way that the people know us as like the team that's very physical. And
especially the midfield. The midfield is your strongest part of your team, 100%.
Like the fact that we still have Tonali, Bruno, and Joelinton, and obviously now we brought in Ramsey as kind of like the backup, you can say. I'm not sure about the Lewis Miley stuff, whether he's going out on loan or staying or whatever, but overall, still kind of weak when the season really kicks on. But okay, good result on that. But yeah, I think overall, I would say basically I would say my man of the match. At least for Newcastle, I would say for Villa it's the goalkeeper. For Newcastle, I mean, it can't be Gordon because he didn't score and he was the striker. I thought Dan Burn was good. I thought Joelinton was good. Alanga, not the most impressive.
Should have scored that chance.
Harvey Barnes, the same thing. I'd say obviously it's my Italian stallion, actually really good, Tonali.
Tonali, yeah.
I mean,
top player.
Like the fact that he wasn't in the PFA.
How is Rice getting in ahead of Tonali?
Yeah,
that is a travesty.
Like what? Like okay, it's fine.
That is a disgrace.
But like Tonali is literally the reason why. If you remember last season when we beat Spurs, and I was at that game, we went on a 9-game winning run. And that was literally when Tonali started.
Yeah, because do you remember Eddie Howe kept benching him for some reason?
Yeah.
At the start. I didn't understand. He kept benching him. I don't know why.
And then we started him, and then we won 9 games or whatever in a row. We ended up winning a trophy and all that. So, but of course, it's always the goals that matter, not the work in midfield. But yeah, I'd probably say Tonali is my man of the match from that game. I don't know if you have any man of the matches from that game. Maybe.
I'd probably say I agree with you on Tonali. Of course, as my fellow Italian, I'll have to go with him. But I thought Bruno was decent for you guys.
It was okay.
I thought he was okay. I mean, defensively, I didn't really think they troubled you that much.
First half, really nothing.
So maybe one of the defenders, because I think that they kept the clean sheet. So but what did you make of the fans at the end? Because there was a thing.
Oh yeah, there was like
the Newcastle fans singing something against Isak. Yeah.
I mean, it's just a tribal thing, I guess. Imagine those same fans will probably cheer on Isak scoring against Sunderland if he's still there, because our first game against them is at Sunderland.
I really think the relationship's broken. Like he's completely just ruined it. I think with Isak, like we were talking about.
Yeah, and
I don't know how it's going to be, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes throughout the couple weeks or so of the window and the rest of the season. But we might as well move on to what happened in this stadium with Tottenham destroying Burnley, like as if that was like the most difficult game of the season. But obviously, Richarlison scoring a double, so he, I believe, is the top goal scorer of the Premier League. So I mean,
Joint with Semenyo, yeah, joint top scorer.
so I mean, you shouldn't let him go to Brentford if you end up doing that. The top
Well,
goal.
there was rumor of us sending him to Palace as part of the Eze deal. Which
Yeah.
the less I talk about Eze now, the better, because I'm going to go on another rant. But yeah, on to the Burnley game. I did a video. I basically said that, look, I expected a comfortable win. Burnley, look, with all due respect, they're probably the weakest out of the promoted teams. I think that they're likely to get relegated. And I think despite our problems we've had in the transfer market, despite the injuries we have, I thought, look, with Thomas Frank being our manager, look, he's adaptable. I think that against Burnley, I think we'll have more than enough. And that's exactly what happened. It was a comfortable win. Obviously, look, Richarlison, a player that I'm not a massive fan of, but that goal, look, that is unbelievable. What can you say? That is an incredible goal. That could easily win goal of the season. It was a carbon copy of his World Cup goal. And obviously he got a brace. He got a brace as well. And obviously Johnson with the third. But we have to talk about Kudus, because for me, Mohamed Kudus was man of the match. And this is a top player. I'll tell you, this is somebody who is going to cook for us, because he was incredible. He's so physical. He's really strong. He can just brush off players. He's quick. And obviously he got both assists, and he carved them out from a very wide position. Obviously crossed them in, both bang on the money for Richarlison. And I think for me, Kudus, especially with how terrible we're being in the transfer market, I don't even know if we're going to bring anyone else in, but I think Kudus is going to be a very important player this season. And I think that Thomas Frank, knowing that he's especially a good manager when it comes to forwards, he's good at getting the most out of forward players. I think that Kudus is somebody that's going to benefit a lot from him. So overall with the Burnley game, like I said, I'm not going to get carried away, because it's only one game and it's against a really weak team. But 3-0, look, a clean sheet as well.
Well, yeah, I saw Dubravka was playing, and he was the first one to suffer that corner kick rule where he holds.
Yeah, the new rule where you hold it for 8 seconds and then it's a corner. And that was early in the game as well. It was like within 5 minutes or so.
Did you do anything with that corner?
No, but what I will say is that we're a lot better on corners now. Under Thomas Frank, we look dangerous from set pieces. We look so far so good at defending them as well. And I've said this already, that defensively, we're not going to be conceding 100 goals again. That's not going to happen, because one, Thomas Frank doesn't play Ange ball every game. He doesn't even play it at all. Like, he's very adaptable. I mean, against City, we'll probably go to 3 at the back again. Yeah. But also, our defenders are good, and I think our defense is the best area of our team. And I think the Ange ball in the league last season, not in Europe, because obviously we know what happened in Europe, but with the league last season, our defense was made to look a lot worse than it actually is. Because you look at Romero, who's just signed a new contract, is a World Cup winner. Another player that people massively underrate. I think he's a top centre back. You've got Van der Ven, who's rapid. You've got the Dragusin, who he's still injured. He's another player that's injured, but I like you guys that watch the channel will know I like Dragusin, watching him in Serie A. You've got Danzo, who for me is a solid backup. He can come in whenever needed, I think. And you've got the fullbacks. You've got Porro, who for me is so creative. He's easily our most creative player in the team right now. He's kind of like a mini Trent in a way. That's the way I see Porro. He creates so much from. If he's playing at wing back, he's even more effective. You got who's injured that will hopefully be back soon. And you've got Carter in goal, who's an excellent shot stop. The thing is, Frank will build that, and we're going to get. We can. Am I still? Am I still
here? Your screen's a little. Okay, try speaking.
Am I still here? Hello? Am I still here?
Yeah, kinda, but maybe try leaving and coming back. Maybe it might be better.
Yeah, let me leave and join. I'll leave and join again.
All right, so while we're waiting for Charlie to finally get his connection back and running, I don't know why that happened. Probably the as a transfer window transfer affected it. But yeah, maybe I give my little thoughts on the game and all that. Oh, now he's back. Let's see.
Is this better?
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, guys, I lagged out there. What I was saying was that I think the defense will be built on a lot this season. We're going to get a lot more clean sheets, that sort of thing. But Thomas Frank right now, because I do like Thomas Frank. I think he's a very good manager and he's good at getting the most out of players and he's good at adapting. But like every manager at Spurs under this poisonous chairman, he is being set up to fail. He is being set up to have a disaster because, yes, we might have a good defense, but we have no number 10. We have no, apart from Kudus, we have no true winger that does anything, right? We're not good enough. Yes, we beat Burnley, but it's Burnley. We're not good enough right now. And the only way we're going to be good enough is if we do something in the transfer market, is if we got players like Eze, who we should have got. So I'm happy with the game. I'm happy with the win, of course. But look, I'd be lying if I said that this news about Eze has just deflated me and it's just knocked the stuffing out of me. Because I'll be honest, look, you guys might have seen my video. I quite enjoyed that game. I enjoyed watching it. I went to the game. I was in the stadium and I was relaxed. I was like, look, this is chill. This is a nice, easy win. We're cooking. We're playing some good football. It's good. It's good to watch. But how can I fully enjoy stuff like that when the club is being ran like a complete circus? It's very difficult. And ultimately, with the way this transfer window is, we're not going to have many games like that this season. The only times we're probably going to have games like that is against teams like Burnley, down at the bottom, Sunderland, hopefully for your sake. So at the end of the day, right, it was a good start, and I'm glad we won the game in the way that we won it because I wanted it to be comfortable. I wanted it to be, I guess they say a walk in the park. I wanted us to make it, dominate the game, make it look like we're the better team, and that's what we did. But ultimately, we're not going to get that very often with the state of the current squad. And unfortunately, especially with Champions League, this manager, he's going to be in for a rude awakening. And I think a lot of the fan base is going to be in for a rude awakening as well. Yes, are we going to do better than last season in the league? Yes, 100%. Are we going to be more structured? Are we going to be a better team than last season? Yes. But ultimately, we won a trophy last season. And when you win a trophy, you have to build on it. And you have to tell yourself that, look, we don't want this to be the only one. We want to get better. We want to this season. Look, I'm not saying we're going to win the Prem. I'm not saying we're going to win the Champions League. But why not aim for winning a cup, an FA Cup, a Carabao Cup again? Absolutely. Why not? In terms of the league, the way I look at the league is I've always felt that, look, I'm realistic in what I see. We're not going to win the league, right? I've accepted that. We're not going to. We're nowhere near that level. We're not Man City or Liverpool. We're not. So what I saw of the league is if we can maybe, at minimum, get back into the Europa League, have another crack at the Europa League next season because we've proven that we can win it. But at the moment, we're going to be, with this transfer window, unless something massively changes, we're going to be out of Europe again next year. And we're going to be back, we're going to be in the mud even more. So good. All I can say is good luck to Thomas Frank because the way it's looking, despite, look, good, like I said, good win. I want to enjoy it, but what's going on at board level is making me hard to enjoy it. And the way it is right now, it was a good win on Saturday, but it's a long season ahead, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, hearing the dog outside, but yeah.
Overall, sorry, yes, sorry for the background noise, guys.
Yeah, but I can't blame. But yeah, my thoughts on the Spurs Burnley game. I don't know. I didn't really see much. I only saw the Richarlison wonder goal and all that. So, but yeah, I guess my thoughts on like a player like Kudus. Kudos to him being the man of the match in your opinion. Obviously, I've seen him with Ajax, and obviously we all seen him with West Ham and all that. He's won a trophy with them. Maybe he could do the same with Spurs by winning the Champions League potentially. 1 in 36 chance. Just saying. Same chances as Newcastle. But yeah,
Same chances as Arsenal, but that's not what they'll tell you.
yeah. But yeah, overall, that's probably my opinion of the game. A good win overall, but really easy win. But we might as well get into the preview of the games because your game is first of the weekend. Manchester City at the Etihad against Tottenham, which, if you remember last season, around November or sometime like that, 4-0. Now, my opinion, if that's the same score,
Oh man.
then okay, I think Liverpool winning the league. But it's just my thinking. I'll let you go first on it. Man City Spurs.
Man City Spurs. By the way, big up to Anthony again, spot on with the comment. Big up to Mr. Moon as well. Mr. Moon, if you've just joined, I would recommend skipping back about 20, 30 minutes because I went on a massive rant about this. So you can hear my foot. If you've just joined, I don't know if you were watching before, but I recommend you watch that. But yeah, big up to you.
I'll have the timestamps at least on my.
Yeah,
channel.
I'm gonna clip it anyway. So it will be in a few hours. It will be on my channel. The clip of it anyway. But yeah, in terms of Man City away, look, it's like I keep saying it. It's really hard for me to kind of talk about Spurs because I'm just so ashamed and embarrassed. I feel I can't even wear that. You're wearing your Newcastle shirt. I can't even wear the shirt. I'm so ashamed of this club right now.
Yeah, you're still seeing it in the background.
Yeah. Well, look, this is the special shirt. This is a shirt for a team that actually wins trophies, unlike the team that Eze is going to join. But anyway, yes, I am rattled, guys. Before any of you say it, I am. I know.
I mean, at least Eze won a trophy. Like
yeah, he's retired from winning trophies now. But anyway, Man City away. Like I said, good start. Like I said, good win against Burnley. We can get a result at the Etihad. As crazy as that sounds with the way they've started the season, which, I mean, they were unbelievable against Wolves. I mean, Tijani Reinders, you called it. We both said it. This guy is going to be insane. You got Cherky as well. You got Marmouche. You got, obviously, the usual people.
I have
like Haaland.
My signing of the season, I think.
I think he will be. I think right now he probably is. He's
obviously Anthony knows and all that.
Reinders is we have to be very careful of him on Saturday. And yeah, spot on with that. But Man City away, we can definitely get a result in this game. The reason I say we can definitely get a result in this game is because I've got to a point where I used to go into these Man City games where they're on top form, we're like, inconsistent, and I've been no chance. We're going to get spanked. Every single time we walk out with a result. We are Man City's bogey team. We have some voodoo over them. And I don't know how we do it because I know Man City weren't great last year and we beat them 4-0. But even before that, and before people say it's a different manager now, this is under multiple managers. Poch beat them. Jose beat them. Even Nuno beat them.
Did Conte beat them?
Conte beat them twice. Conte won at the Etihad as well. Ange beat them. Ange only lost to them twice at home.
And already, to be honest, Thomas Frank has won at the Etihad.
And Thomas Frank, he has won at the Etihad. He did the double on the treble-winning Man City. So we can definitely get a result. We are their bogey team. We have a way of getting joy against them somehow. Them still not having Rodri could help us in the sense that there's going to be gaps, I think, in the midfield, in kind of the between the midfield and the defense. I think a weak spot that we need to exploit is the right back. I think that they desperately need to sign a right back. I don't know why they haven't signed the right back. I think that's a weak area in their team. I think that we need to find a way to exploit that. And what I think we should do is I think we should go for the same game plan as against PSG. I think we should go to a back five, 3-5-2, wing backs, 2 up top, put Kudus, Richarlison up top, put Porro at right wing back, get him advancing high, put hopefully a Doggy's back. If a Doggy's back, I know Spence done well, but I would start a Doggy, naturally a left wing back, and I think a better player. Just put him in there, get him creating as well, get the wing backs involved, and have that free at the back. Danzo coming in at centre back. Because Thomas Frank, I'm confident that he can adapt, because this is what he's good at. He's good at adapting, and it's the complete opposite to Ange in that sense. So it's going to be a very difficult game. It's going to be, I'm not underestimating City. I mean, who would underestimate City? I literally said I think they're going to win the league because I think people are underestimating them. So it's one of those where if we lose, would it surprise me? No, because I think they're in much better shape than we are. They're obviously a better team than we are, and they're at home. And I think that they can, on their day, they can put 4 goals past any team in the world, to be honest. So, but this is Tottenham we're talking about. And whatever we want to say about Tottenham, you know, we always are a thorn in their side somehow. And that doesn't seem to ever change for whatever reason. So it's one of those games where, look, it'd be nice to get another win. I wouldn't be surprised whatever happens. If we won the game, I wouldn't be shocked. If we drew the game, I wouldn't be shocked. If we lost the game, I wouldn't be shocked. It's one of those games where no outcome would surprise me. So for me, that's why I predicted a 2-2 draw for this game. I have to sit on the fence because any of these outcomes for me make sense. Any of them. Yeah. So let's see. Will City turn up and put 4 goals past us? Could happen. Will we get another 4-0? I doubt it, but we could get a win. I'm telling you guys, we could definitely win this game, but it's a big if and it's very unpredictable, I would say. So Spurs v City it's always a good game. It's always a crazy game. I'm sure there'll be a lot of that as well on Saturday. And I think for the neutrals, it will be good. I just hope I hope we're on the right end of it. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, very, very unpredictable for me. I'm struggling to kind of truly analyze this game. Plus, as well, it's only the second game of the season. This is only game week 2, so we don't really know where each team in and around they're going to be. There's no real form right now.
And you beat both Man City and Spurs beat not really good teams.
Exactly. So there's no real form. No team has any real form right now. So it's kind of hard to judge anything on form either. So let's see. All I'm going to say on that is let's see how it goes.
I mean, for me, I just my thinking of it. Look, obviously, as Anthony said in the chat, that most of the Prem are shocked that Tijani Reinders is really good. Oh, what a surprise! I mean, I saw you guys, AC Milan, beat Real Madrid in Madrid, and I think one of the goal scorers, if I remember, was Reinders.
He was cooking. I watched that game. He was cooking in that game.
And I was happy to see AC Milan beat Madrid, but. Yeah, overall, my thinking of this game, how I see it, I think obviously it won't. If Frank does Ange ball somehow,
he's not gonna 10. He won't play Ange. Yeah, I know. Or if he might play Ange Wall, but the difference is that there'll be a structure to it. It won't just be traffic cone.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I just feel like if you compare Burnley defensively and Man City defensively, obviously I would say Man City are better defensively. And the thing that might be lacking for Spurs in a game like against a Man City is a creative player that could help someone like a Richarlison or John.
Thanks, Daniel Levy. Congratulations.
Yeah, and that's what I think might be the undoing of Spurs in this game, and it might maybe spark a little bit more from the fan base or Daniel Levy. Who knows? Probably not Daniel Levy, but surely the fan base. But I just think. I'll go 1-0 Man City. I just think, you'll be better defensively, but I just think the lack of that creativity in the team might be the undoing. And probably I'm thinking Johnny Reinders might be having another good game against Spurs. Because obviously Man City are going to have more of the ball. And I think Reinders is really good with the ball and all that. I think obviously this season with Spurs, it's more about just seeing how it goes. But at least you get to play them at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at some point later in the season. And maybe
we do. And also, just as well with this game, in terms of like the creative midfielder, I totally agree with you. If we come undone in this game, it's because we cannot create for love nor money.
Well, if you don't score at all,
yeah, if we don't score. However, though, if there's any game that we could maybe get away with it, it's probably this type of game because we're going to be sitting back. We're not going to be the team that's pinning the other team in. We're kind of sitting back, and Man City are pinning us in. They're going to have space, and we can, if we do a couple like long ball over the top, try and get in behind them. We're good on the transitions, and that's where we could maybe get away with it. But we're not going to have those types of games every week, are we? So
especially against a Man City, unless you play Burnley every weekend. I don't think that'll be the case, or hopefully Sunderland. But I guess you said 2-2. I'm going 1-0 Man City. So those are our preview of the game. Now it's time for the Monday Night Football. Newcastle United. Guess who we're playing? Liverpool.
This is going to be fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I would be a little bit more up for it for this game. I know a lot of fans are up for it for this game, but I'm not as up for it for this game because the reason why, obviously, we don't have a good record against Liverpool. Up until
Carabao Cup.
that day in Wembley, like of all teams, like Chelsea couldn't even beat Liverpool in like 3-4 attempts in Wembley. Whereas we one attempt against Liverpool at Wembley, we beat them. But maybe that might be the changing of fortune against them. Who knows? Like we don't have a good record against Liverpool. They seem to be a thorn in our side. Obviously, if you want to go only based on Premier League, the last time we beat them was 10 years ago, something like that, when Wijnaldum scored, who eventually became a Liverpool player later on that season. I don't think Isak will play, I'll be honest. So it might be Anthony Gordon, I guess, playing as the striker, but I guess I'm not sure. I think Gordon actually has a pretty decent-ish record against Liverpool since he signed for us.
Well, he scored in the Darwin Núñez game, didn't he?
Coincidentally, that was almost exactly like 2 years ago.
Similar time.
Yeah,
season,
so who knows? Maybe that could be a good or bad thing for us, and that's why I'm not too confident in the game. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose. But obviously, this game last season, we obviously played them 3 times. 1-1, which was the game that mattered for us. Drew 1, which was this particular game, 3-3.
Crazy game, yeah.
Isak scored in that game. Doesn't seem like he'll score in this game today. And Isak actually has a good record against Liverpool, so what better time?
It's probably why they want to sign him as well. That if you can't stop him, just buy him.
Yeah. And then the other game we play against them at Anfield, 2-0 loss for us. But my thoughts on this game and what I think could happen, I just think that Liverpool obviously on good-ish form. I know, but the only thing is they've already conceded 2 goals in the 2 games that they play as like ish competitive. Crystal Palace 2-2 in the Community Shield, which is a major trophy. I'm just going to say this right now.
Nope. If you go and look on the website, it doesn't officially say it says it's officially a friendly. It's a friendly match. Unless you're Arteta. Again, another reason why Arteta's a bottler, because he counts Community Shields.
Yeah. But we call this, I think they've conceded 2 against Palace. Against Bournemouth, they conceded 2 against Bournemouth. Coincidentally from Semenyo. I don't really want to talk too much about what happened particularly in that game for Semenyo, except the goals. Decent goals. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know, it seems like Liverpool could get at defensively, but it's more obviously the attack of Liverpool that could be our undoing and all that. This is the type of game someone like Ekitike might actually just pop up and be like, hey, you should have signed me, those sort of things. I would love to see Isak, like he's not going to be in this game, I feel, but imagine Isak in the stands or whatever, watching the game. Or probably watching on TV, I don't know, but I feel like I don't know if that Carabao Cup win probably provided a little bit like, hey, we can actually beat Liverpool, like we should, because we haven't had a good record against them. But at least we beat them in that one game that mattered. So I'm not complaining, and that's why I'm not too hyped up on this. Because maybe before that game, I was like, oh my God, Liverpool, we're going to lose or whatever, that sort of thing. But now that we beat them in the game that mattered, I'm like a little bit more calm. But obviously the main storyline is who's the, what do you call that? I don't know if you watch WWE, the owner, like the winner of TLC, table, ladders, and chairs. The winner gets Isak by the end, or whatever.
Is that the decider? Whoever wins gets Isak.
Oh, that would be fun. Imagine it's a draw then, But, but yeah, my feeling of this game, I just think that if we can be in front of the faces of Liverpool, which I think we will, because 1, it's in front of our fans. It's our first game at home this season. We haven't played at home since that Everton game, which is a Liverpool-based club, and we lost. So who knows? But I think overall, how I see this game against Liverpool, I think we'll be getting at them like physically, but it's probably what the quality might be at the other end for Liverpool, because I think they could be get at defensively. I think we might suffer again, like a Darwin Nunez type of thing. Obviously, he's not going to play in this game because he's no longer at the club. So why not 2-1? Gordon scores the opening goal. Maybe Salah scores a goal or something, and then the game-winning goal by Hugo Ekitike in like near the.
That will sting. That will sting.
So,
by the way, big up to me. Yeah, that's facts. 2 clubs. Yeah, facts. Absolutely. Big up to you.
I mean, probably his club, because at least we signed some players.
My club are the worst in the transfer window. Like the worst.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, you were saying about the game.
Yeah, my prediction. Just so that I don't get the tears or whatever, I'm just going to say 2-1 Liverpool. Hugo Ekitike scoring the game-winning goal in like the 83rd minute or whatever, and Liverpool see out the game, something like that. But if we beat Liverpool, then I'm like, okay, our season has started. Because if we don't beat them, it'll be like, and then we play leagues and all. In the game on next Saturday, like 10 days from now, I just think we lose. That's my feeling. But we'll see. 2-1 Liverpool. But we score first. Why not? And as you said there, me. What's your thought?
Yeah, you're going for a repeat of the Darwin Nunez game.
This time it's Hugo.
Yeah. Do you know? I'll say it straight away. 10. I think you're winning this game. I think you're winning.
Oh, you said Newcastle are not going to win the Carabao Cup to Liverpool.
Yeah.
End up winning. Now you're saying we're going to win this game. That's why I'm saying we're going to lose. Now that you said that.
Look, maybe I'm jinxing it, but I think you're going to win this game. The reason I think you're going to win this game is because think of it like this, right? Remember when Spurs had the whole Harry Kane saga? He wanted to go to Man City. He wasn't turning up to training. Obviously, we ended up keeping him. But he missed the first game because he was down tooling. He was trying to force the move. And the first game was against Manchester City, the team that he was trying to join. And obviously we beat Man City.
Was that at home?
At home. We beat Man City. Nuno beat them. And all the fans were singing, "Are you watching Harry Kane?" I think we're going to have the same thing happen here. Obviously, as we spoke about Isak earlier in the stream. Isak wants to join Liverpool. He's trying to force the move. Obviously, he's not going to be available for Newcastle to use. So you guys are going to be, light up front again. Yeah. This is all written for me. Because plus considering the fact that
who scored the goal in that Man City game?
Son.
So who's the son?
Gordon. Gordon.
I'd say Bruno. Bruno is
yeah
probably the most connected of the club. Or I would love Tonali. Gravenberch will be.
Gravenberch is back for this game, but as me says, look, Frimpong's out. No Bradley, so they don't really have a right back at the moment. And I was going to say, Liverpool defensively are looking very shaky right now. I think they'll get it together. I think they're going to bring in. They brought in Leone, who's a good player from Parma. They're going to probably bring in Guehi.
99% of Liverpool fans, who's Leone? And then they're like, oh my god,
he's great. We can tell you, Leone is really good.
Wasn't that good.
I think they will sort it out in the long run, but at the moment they're looking really shaky defensively.
Yeah. As I said, the 2 goals against Bournemouth, 2 against Palace.
Yeah.
That's
I think that considering that it's at St James's Park as well, Newcastle, for a lot of last season, away from home compared to at home, you guys were 2 very different teams. Especially when it was a Big 6 team at home. Against Big 6 teams, Newcastle always turn up. They always are up for it, no matter what. I have a sneaky feeling you're going to win. 2-1 Newcastle. considering the fact Liverpool defensively aren't great, and I just think this whole Isak thing, even if it's just for this game, maybe it will galvanize Newcastle. It will galvanize the fans, and it will galvanize the squad and the manager. And I think all of that together, I think Newcastle are winning. 2-1 Newcastle. You heard it here first over Liverpool. That is my prediction. I've got a sneaky feeling that it's just written with all this Isak stuff for Newcastle to go and beat Liverpool and get a bit back. And this is going to be fireworks. This is going to be a crazy game.
Monday night football.
Yeah, Monday night football under the lights. It's going to be insane.
And
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. But like I said, watch this space with Newcastle. I think they're going to win this game.
I mean, I hope that's the case. But you said we lose to Liverpool in the cup final. We won, so
yeah.
Same. So that's maybe I should. You guys should listen to me more because I said we would. For saving my tears, we lose to Liverpool in the cup final. We end up winning. I'm saying we lose this game. You know what? Be prepared that Ekitike scores the winning goal in the 80th minute or something. But yeah, those are our thoughts on the review of our games and the preview of the games this coming weekend. We're almost an hour and a half in the show. Just one last thing before we, I guess, wrap up is I just want to say, obviously, me and Charlie, we have a show, obviously, on Mondays, that being Deportivo La Coruña for me, and obviously Palermo for Charlie, which we do on Mondays, except this next weekend is going to be on Tuesday, because we want to watch how much red cards are in that Newcastle-Liverpool game. So just for anyone that's in the chat. But because it's the first show of this particular show, how many trophies are each of our clubs winning?
Oh, for the first show, a little season.
We're in the same competitions as well.
A little season prediction.
Okay, let's start with Premier League. I mean, we said our prediction. I said 7 for us, 6 for Spurs. I think you said...
I said 8 for Spurs, and I said 5th for Newcastle.
So we don't win the Premier League, so 0 for each. Carabao Cup, obviously, I have this with me right now. I probably won't remove it. But I forgot who I said would win it. But I'll say, where do we get knocked out? Oh, the first round that we played.
You know what? Not with look, I don't mean this in a bantery way, but I reckon you're gonna get knocked out first round as well.
Yeah, something like that. Just so that, you know what? It'll clear out the schedule.
Yeah.
And then our fans would be like, oh, but
I reckon, I don't know why. I think for the Carabao Cup, just because you're the holders, I feel like you might just get knocked out in the first round. I don't know why.
Something like that. So that's why I don't think we'll retain the title. But if we do, I'm not going to complain. But I think the first round, or I think it's the second round it's called, or third round, I forgot which.
The first round for us. The first round for the clubs in Europe.
Yeah, the first round for us. So whoever that is, even if it's like Grimsby Town, because they have to knock out Man United. But yeah, how about you with Spurs then?
See, the thing is with Thomas Frank is that he doesn't really have a good record in cups, but he's been at Brentford, and Brentford obviously, they're not expected to win anything, and they don't really have the resources to win anything. So I'm not really going to judge him too much because I don't think he's really had the chance to win something. But look, there's obviously pressure on us, we won a trophy. That obviously raises expectations of fans, as it should. Look, I'll be honest, I don't think we're going to win anything this season. I said that my hope was in terms of, look, the cups. If we're going to win one of the cups, is it possible? Yes, just simply because if we get lucky with the draw, if we get like a good draw, maybe we can kind of find a way through in that. Maybe the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup. If we get a favourable draw, you never know. It is the cup. It's a knockout competition. Let's say if 2 of the big teams meet each other, one of them will have to get knocked out, for example. So there's that, and that applies to every team. That both our clubs, every team. You never know in the cups, but in the Carabao Cup, I think we went to the semis last year. I think we'll probably be knocked out pretty early, if I'm being honest, because it seems like with the Carabao Cup in recent years, we'll have 2 years where we're just terrible, and then 1 year we'll get to like the semis or something, and then
Or the
2 years in
final.
a row we'll get knocked out early. Probably get knocked out early. I mean, knowing our luck, we'll get a Premier League team in the draw because we always get
Probably
Premier
like
League teams in like
Wolves.
the first round. Yeah, we always get Premier League teams, and we never get like a League Two team ever. We always get like Premier League teams straight away. So
Yeah. I remember we had like AFC Wimbledon.
exactly.
Well,
So we never get that kind of luck. So Carabao Cup, FA Cup. Look, obviously we've got a great history in the FA Cup, winning it 8 times. We have won the Carabao Cup 4 times, but
5
not as
times?
many as the FA Cup. Obviously, before Levy came in, we were the record holders of the FA Cup. Before this chairman came in, no team had won it
Now
more
it's
than us.
Arsenal.
Now it's Arsenal, yeah. Still nothing in Europe for them. I haven't seen anything of note there. But anyway, yeah, FA Cup. Look, we've had no luck in the FA Cup for years now. You know, we haven't even got to like the FA Cup's been a curse for us because we've just it's been a curse for us because we haven't got past the round of 16, the 5th round, I think it is. We haven't got past the 5th round since 2018 when we got to the semis against United. We haven't got past the 5th round since for almost like 10 years now. You're talking about. So FA Cup, I don't feel with our recent history in that. I just don't feel confident. But like I said, you never know with the draw. You never know if we get lucky with the draw. If other big teams get knocked out and stuff, then maybe. But I don't know. With the FA Cup, look, let's just say if we were to win any of the domestic cups, I'd have more confidence in us winning the Carabao Cup than the FA Cup. That's what I would say. Yeah. But like I said, in terms of what I'm sort of expecting, kind of expectations, like I said, in the league, if we can get him back into the Europa League, you know, I wouldn't mind another crack.
Or Conference League.
Or even Conference League, you know. We know how to win in Europe, unlike other teams in North London or South London, should I say. So, look, who knows? Maybe next season, I'm thinking really far ahead here, but who knows? Maybe another crack at the Europa League. I'd be up for that, for sure. So, we'll see. But this season, plus it's Thomas Frank's first season, he's never won anything. He hasn't... Look, we don't know if he can. He hasn't really been in the position to. But... especially in his first season where, you know, as they say, it takes time, that sort of thing. If he is going to win anything, I don't think it will be this season, to be honest. That's just my feeling.
Maybe he wins usually in his second season.
Maybe.
Yeah. But my thoughts for us in the FA Cup, I mean, we're also kind of cursed. At least we make it to like quarterfinals, but we never actually go to Wembley for the semifinals. We always get knocked out, and it's always against Man City in the quarterfinal. Obviously, it was a couple of years ago, which was the Botman ACL injury news. That's the game that happened. And then, like during COVID, I know we made the quarterfinal with Steve Bruce in charge, one of our better managers at that time. I'm joking, but yeah, I think we'll get knocked out before the quarters. Maybe we'll have an okay run, like last season, get knocked out by Brighton or something like that. So I don't think we win either domestic cups or the Premier League, but maybe Premier League next year. But in terms of the Champions League,
Champions League.
I mean, we could get both knocked out in the league phase. That would be funny. More likely us, based on our record, but. I'll say for us, I think the furthest we'll go, I think we'll take the Champions out of all competitions. I think we'll take it seriously, because the last time we were in the Champions League, we got eliminated pretty early. So at least we have until January, and if we're in the top 24, at least February, we have Champions League football. So, and it depends on how the team is and what happens with Isak throughout the year or not. I think we can make maximum quarterfinal if we get a somewhat okay, decent run, like similar to Aston Villa. Like Aston Villa had Club Brugge. I know Club Brugge are doing well, but I mean, playing against Club Brugge in the last 16 over maybe a team like Atalanta, which they could have actually had. Maybe Atalanta would have knocked out Aston Villa that time, and then Aston Villa nearly knocked out PSG. But I think maximum quarterfinal, and why not? I guess it seems like English clubs might do well in the Champions League, so maybe we add to that. So maximum, I'll say quarterfinal for Newcastle. We'll take it seriously, but obviously, but if we actually
You're dreaming. You're dreaming.
we actually
What?
go to Budapest to play Real Madrid and we beat them, imagine that. That's the dream
It's a
scenario.
dream for all. That's the dream for all of us.
We play Newcastle, Real Madrid in Budapest, and Newcastle United win, just so that we can kind of rub it into the faces of who's lost to Real Madrid, Liverpool.
You can rub it in the face of no European heritage FC as well.
Or Arsenal, yeah. But then they'll say 3-0 or 2-1 at the Bernabeu, like last season.
Well, that's their trophy, just like signing Eze is a trophy as well.
Yeah. So I'll say maximum quarterfinal. Well, I think we'll take the Champions League out of all comps, like the knockout competitions, so not the Prem. I say Champions League is the one we're going to put a lot of energy towards, and that's why I kind of said we will finish not as high in the Prem, but that's why I think quarterfinal maximum. If very lucky, semis. That's the absolute maximum, if luck. But yeah, I don't know about Spurs. Maybe 25th.
For me, I think. First of all, like I said, signing we're not. We don't have the we signed Eze ahead of Spurs trophy. We also don't have the we beat Real Madrid trophy. What we do have is a European trophy from last season. And we are, of course, the Europa League holders going into the Champions League. So for us, I want to see us put up a fight in the Champions League. Look, the reality is that even if we did make the signings that I want us to make and that we should make, I would still say that it's totally unrealistic to think that we have a chance of winning the Champions League this year. Just simply because, look, no matter what we did this summer, we're nowhere near the level of Madrid, Barcelona, PSG,
Arsenal.
Liverpool. Come on, yes. We have a better chance than Arsenal because we actually have some European heritage. So there you go. Yeah, Man City, we're not Bayern. We're not on the level of those clubs. We're nowhere near that level. So for me, even if we did bring in the players that we should be bringing in, I would still not be expecting much from the Champions League. But especially now with this transfer window, once again, this chairman is happy to make up the numbers and just, maybe lose 7-2 again. I don't know, because that's the state of the transfer window. That's the state we're in. Right now, we're walking into the Champions League with this current squad. Last season, when we were in the Europa League, where we could afford to rotate a bit more in the group stage, we still couldn't deal with 2 games a week. Now we have to play our strongest team Wednesday, Saturday, because it's the Champions League. You can't rotate in the Champions League unless you have a squad that allows you to rotate. And because of this chairman, we do not have a squad that allows us to rotate. So, yeah, I think we're in a bit of trouble. Do I think that we're going to get grouped like a lot of, certain fans are saying, like rival fans?
If Spurs finish 25th and miss out by goal score,
we're not going to get grouped. The reason we're not going to get grouped is because I think we have Thomas Frank. He's adaptable. He's not going to play Ange ball against all these teams. So, and look, the reality is that in the league phase, we're not going to play. Every team isn't going to be Madrid, Barcelona. We're going to play some maybe, I don't know, like Bodo Glimt again. Yeah, why not? That brings back some good memories. Or I don't know, we'll play like
Paphos
maybe.
Or
We'll play
from Kazakhstan.
Right, yeah. Or what I'm trying to say is we're not going to be playing in the league phase. Not every team is going to be Madrid and Barca. So we'll be able to win enough games to get into the playoffs. I think that's kind of where I'm expecting us to be. I don't think we're good enough to get in the top 8. You never know if we get we get a good draw. You never know, but I would say that what I'm expecting us to get into the playoffs for the knockouts, which is obviously 2 extra games. So I'm thinking for Champions League, like I said, I'm not expecting much. Again, it depends how the draw goes. If we get, a decent playoff draw, maybe we can make it to the last 16, but I don't know. I think we will take it seriously because it is the Champions League. You can't not take the Champions League seriously. But like I said, we're not in a position to kind of seriously compete for it. And I think maximum, if we have like a really good run, maximum quarterfinals. But where I'm expecting is either playoffs or round of 16. That's sort of what I'm expecting.
Yeah. I mean, well, we might as well wrap up the show here because it's been nearly an hour and a half. If we add more topics and all that. So we might as well do a little bit of an outro. Obviously, it's great having you on, Charlie, for the Year of the Bird. Obviously, I love magpies. Do love cockerels. But yeah, obviously, both of us have won trophies. Let's see who's the first one to get the second in a long time. But yeah, thank you for joining.
Yeah, anytime. Look, great to do the first episode of this show. Unfortunately, it came off the back of some awful transfer news, so I do apologize for the rant I went on, which lasted about 20 minutes. But either way, I'm sure you enjoyed it. I'm sure the chat enjoyed my tears. It is what it is. Look, at the end of the day, I know I said, I sounded very rattled and salty, but it is what it is. Like, I can admit it, and it's just the way football goes, isn't it? That's it's the way football fans are. We all get rattled. We all get salty. We all have tears at some point. And today it was my tears, and it is what it is. So yeah, great show. Year of the Bird podcast. This is going to be a weekly show. Like I said, next week it will be on Friday because of the Champions League draw. So after that, we'll go back to Thursdays at 5 p.m. UK time. So being streamed on both channels, 10's channel, my channel here. Please do subscribe to both if you haven't already as well. Like both streams as well. And also, if you're watching on playback, if you're watching this on playback, get all your thoughts in the comment section as well about everything we spoke about today regarding Spurs and Newcastle. So should be an interesting week. Games, you guys playing Liverpool, especially us playing City, and the Champions League draw. There'll be a lot to talk about next week. So 10, as always, thank you for having me on. And yeah, like I said, I'm sure you enjoyed my rant. So there you go.
Definitely. I mean, like I said a little bit earlier before, me and Charlie also do a similar similar show to this, which is the La Piña Rosa, which I think Charlie hosts most of it. Whereby we talk about Deportivo La Coruña and Palermo, both having good starts. So if you want, episode 1 was on Monday. We're going to do one on Tuesday instead of the usual Mondays because we want to see how many red cards are in that game, or who might get arrested, or who wins the Isak derby, you could say. But yeah, in terms of things that might come up on my channel, apart from the shows that I'm doing, which is this one, this time next Friday, and the La Piña Rosa, which would be rescheduled to Tuesday.
Both shows are moved just for next week, guys.
Yeah, hopefully. And but I am going to the Deportivo La Coruña game, so hopefully I do a vlog and all that. So maybe I'll have it up like on Monday or something this coming week. But yeah, it's been a good show, a really long show. I wasn't expecting this long, but yeah, it's been really good. As I said, shout out to everyone. We had a lot of people in the comments for the first show, which is, I guess you can say, surprising. As always, Anthony, I cannot wait to see you in Europe as well, Anthony. Never mind. But
what's that? What's that?
So I basically said, I cannot wait to play AC Milan again in Europe,
Oh.
But of course, AC Milan have the better record against us from that.
Crazy.
Yeah, but we'll see maybe next year. But yeah, big up to everyone that has joined. As Charlie said, subscribe to his channel, and obviously subscribe to my channel as well. And obviously, yeah, a lot more content coming out over the next week or so. And obviously, we'll find out this time with this show, episode 2. We'll find out whether I'm going to watch Real Madrid destroy Newcastle United or something like that.
I'd love, for the Champions League draw, I'd love Bodo Glimt. Play them again because great memories. And Bilbao, Athletic Club away. Go back to that stadium where this happened. Why not? Yeah. They're the two ties I'd especially like in the.
I think for me, just very quickly, I'd say obviously Real Madrid away.
You want the big boys?
I want one big game or whatever. But if I want to say, I'd say Atletico Madrid away would be the better feasible way. But oh well. But yeah, please do hit the like button on both streams. subscribe to both channels, and we will see you guys for this particular